We are on the road.
Correct.
Vroom.
Off the road.
Vroom. Sorry, I'm a little bit
We're off.
silly.
We're off the road today because our schedules didn't match up uh, for the usual Thursday drive, and I don't feel like getting in my car just to record this. So I'm in the house.
I'll do some of those like when I get a car, I'll fucking just like drive around in my neighborhood and record and be like, hey, I'm on the road this time.
We're gonna be old men by the time you get a car.
Nah, we just gotta wait for my injury settlement if that ever happens. I'm supposed to hear from him this month.
That's been like 2 years.
Not yet. September will be 2 years.
Close enough. Anyways, so you got a new job, Tim. How's that been?
uh, it's been all right. I've been there every day except Wednesday, and yesterday was my first day on a register because that's what I'm doing. I'm a cashier. Like that, my first 2 days after like the orientations and stuff. I was bagging. I'm at a grocery store. It's like a 4 minute walk from my house. It's pretty sweet. Um, Everybody's pretty cool. All the employees are cool. The customers are cool. Um, there was this guy that came in a couple days ago, and like, he just looked like such a cartoon character, like like one of those like bald old men type cartoon characters, like his I don't know, he just didn't look real, and I was just cracking up while I was bagging up his groceries.
I don't know. I remember when I started my last retail job. It was in I started it in 2016, and I left after like a year and a half. But I don't know. I remember when I started it, I thought everyone was pretty cool, but then you give it a few weeks, Tim, and you'll be like, I work with idiots.
Like I already know I work with idiots. There's this one guy. He's hilarious. I don't know if you ever watched that American Splendor movie.
Yeah, I did.
All right, well, you remember his coworker? He talks like, "You got any like records
Oh,
for me?" There's a,
yes,
I
yes.
I work with a dude that sounds and acts exactly like that guy, and he is fucking hilarious. Oh my god, dude! Like,
Tim, you always meet the strangest people. I don't know sometimes to even believe you. Like, I believe you, but I'm like, why does Tim meet all the weird people? Like, I don't meet that many weird people. I think it's just Rockford and Loves Park and McChesney Park. They have all the weirdos. That's probably why you meet them all.
so maybe, so this was my first day bagging groceries. I'm listening to this dude talking, and he's like, "So you hear that Easter is on April Fool's Day, and I don't think anybody should be playing any pranks on Easter Sunday."
You do that voice to a T. Oh, man.
I was cracking up.
Dude, that voice is kind of the voice that in any message or post from Zach, I read it in that voice.
Zach, Canadian Zach.
Yeah, Canadian Zach.
I'm gonna record with him on Sunday. It's gonna be fun. I've never heard his voice before, so it's gonna be
Dude,
cool.
he sounds like a normal American dude. He doesn't sound Canadian at all.
That's cool. A lot of
Yeah,
Canadians don't always have that accent.
I don't know. It's just you always see it in like TV and stuff. So I was just expecting him to get on and have that Canadian accent and say "a" after every word, but no, he sounds like the normal American accent.
That's neat. I work with a lot of French Canadians when I'm like working out of town and stuff, and they sound like they're from France. They don't sound like Western out here. I don't know, it's cool. And they talk a lot of shit in French. and you don't know what the fuck they're saying. You think they're talking shit about us, but like really, that's just easier for them to communicate to each other in French than English. But
Yeah.
it always makes you seem like they're talking shit about you.
So I noticed today that the newest trailer for Avengers dropped, but lately, the last like year or so, I stopped watching when they release like a third and fourth trailer. I don't really watch past the first trailer now for movies. If I like if I like the first trailer, then I'll go see the movie. But I feel these days they've been giving away too much.
Oh yeah, for real. Like I'm in the same boat, and then you see comments so like, oh man, all this stuff in the movie was already in the trailer or whatever. I'm all like, then don't watch the fucking trailer, dude. Like, watch one trailer, just decide if you want to see the movie or not, and then boom, stick with it, stick with that. You know, like don't. If you're gonna I never
Uh,
have that complaint because I don't watch the trailers, so I'm all like, I don't know what scenes are in the trailers or not, except for the first one. So,
yeah, like I think when I was watching I think when I was watching Get Out in the theater, there was a commercial for this movie, and it looked like such a good movie. I forget the name, but because I ended up not seeing it, but I was watching this trailer, and it was for another scary movie, and it was kind of like a love triangle kind of horror movie, and you know, like the obsessed ex and all that kind of stuff. But it looked like a really solid movie. And I'm watching the trailer, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta remember this name so I could watch it whenever it comes out. But then, like halfway through the trailer, they show one person from like the main cast dying, and I'm like, why? I know now who dies. I'm like, why would I go see your movie?
yeah, like what the fuck, man? You need like they need to learn how to market that stuff better, and whoever does the editing for the trailers, man, they that's who we gotta look at, and we gotta like, hey, man, just tone it down a little bit, man.
For real, like I like when the movies just give me a little taste of what they're going for, like the movie It Comes at Night. That one came out sometime last year, I believe. Uh, it had like three trailers in it, I think, but I only watched like the first one, and it gave you a vibe of a bunch of people are in a house, and basically there's something off. You just know there's something off. It's like Edgar Allan Poe when you read his stuff, or if you listen to like a radio show adaptation of it, and you know something's off, but you don't know what it is. That's the vibes I got from the trailer for It Comes at Night. Uh, it's just a bunch of people are in a house. It's always dark, and there's something strange going on. So I went and saw the movie, and ended up hating the movie, but I couldn't be mad at the trailer because the trailer was really well done. But then when you go see stuff like Spider-Man: Homecoming, I've already seen in the trailer that Iron Man saves that boat when it's
Yeah,
falling apart and Spider-Man can't hold it together. So that scene was a lot less dramatic when I saw it in the theater because I'm like, nobody's in danger. I know Iron Man's about to save the day.
yeah. And when I was watching the movie, and I know that scene was in the that scene was like in all the trailers for that too. It's not like it was just in like the last few; it was in all of them. And
Yeah,
and when I was watching that scene, I almost forgot about that in the trailer where Iron Man comes in because I was all like, oh man, he's actually doing it. Maybe Iron Man doesn't really save it, and that's because that trailers do that sometimes too. Well, they show shit that doesn't even make it to the movie, and uh, and sometimes I like that. Um, the first time I ever noticed it was this movie called The Faculty. It came out when I was a kid. Um, Usher was in it. All sorts of characters when it was about alien invasion. Like all the teachers and faculty of this school were now aliens, and they're like shape shifting aliens, whatever, and they're infecting the students and other staff or whatever too. And there was this scene in the trailer where Usher was one of the aliens, and he was like kicking ass like against the fucking people. But then in the movie, that doesn't happen at all. Usher is one of the people that dies, and I don't know. I was all like, "What the fuck? What happened in the scene with Usher being a badass?" And like at the time I was upset about it, and now I look back and I think that type of stuff is great, because then it just throws everyone off.
First time I noticed that when something didn't make it to the movie was a little bit later in life when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. Because my high school was strict, and so we weren't allowed to see a lot of movies until I was just like through it, and I just went and started watching movies anyways because they only approved of like animated Disney movies. So I was like, screw it. So I started going to the theater, and I was like all hyped for Amazing Spider-Man 2, especially the part in the trailer when he's talking to Harry, and Harry was telling him that somebody was after him. I don't know if you remember that scene in the trailer,
I
but
do, and that one I was upset that didn't make the movie because that seemed like it was going to be a really good story arc for Harry and Peter.
yeah, and then there was also I think another scene with Harry talking to Gwen, I think in like an elevator or something, and I was ready for these scenes, and they weren't in the movie at all, and I almost didn't think about it till I got home. I was like, wait a second, they never did that one thing.
Yeah, so I was hoping Iron Man wasn't gonna save the day, and I was all like, "Oh yeah, dude, the fucking AI said he's like 98% successful," and then like all he had to do was just shoot like four more webs, and he would have been he would have been 100%.
Yeah, but I don't know. I for Black Panther, I saw the first trailer, and that was it. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna see this movie anyways. It's a Marvel movie, so I was like, I didn't even have to watch the first one, but I watched it anyways. I was like, I'm gonna see this regardless, but I'm not gonna watch the next few trailers. And
Yeah,
then, like, behold, on Facebook, I suddenly see people complain like, why did they show this in the trailer and that? And I'm like, well, I didn't see it because I didn't watch the rest of the trailers.
yeah, I loved Black Panther. There were some jokes I thought didn't hit. I mentioned that in the episode I did with Brian, but all that's gonna go more when I do that film review with Corey eventually. I'm trying to hit him up like every single day, and he never responds.
But yeah, that was such a good movie.
Man, man, it was cool, man. It was political in all the right ways. It was fun. It was action packed, dude. It was great, man. Fucking it was a really just solid fucking film, man. Like they did that fucking work on that, man. They earned that fucking billion plus.
Like, I don't know. I usually am very picky about movies, but I don't think I really even had a complaint at all in that movie. I mean, I found online, people talking about plot holes. Like, let me think. There, the main one I can remember is everyone saying that if Eric Killmonger or whatever, if Eric his whole plan was to kill Claw and take the body to Wakanda, then why didn't he just kill him in the first place? Like, why was he riding around with him, uh, robbing places? But I don't know. I guess I could kind of look past that, but then again, we don't know Eric's reasoning for everything. Maybe there was stuff he needed from Claw. Maybe there was information he needed. I don't really know. But if his whole plan, and he already knew where Wakanda was, so I don't know what he would have needed from what Eric would have needed from Claw. So I don't know why in the first place he didn't just kill Claw.
He probably needed like I'm thinking that Killmonger grew up like not in the best of circumstances. His father died, and like
Yeah,
he had like no.
they were hooping on a milk carton. The net on their hoop was a milk carton. He did not grow up with any good
Yeah,
circumstances.
so like his father was dead, and then we don't know who raised him. So like he probably ended up teaming up with Ulysses for some like he needed he like Ulysses probably knew about Wakanda and all this stuff more, and he found this kid and he like boom like he showed him his lip at one point, and somehow Ulysses already knew about this stuff. He could have been like a historian and he had maybe just knowledge and resources that Killmonger just needed to fucking gain a sense of identity and just figure out who he is. And well, we don't get any of that, but you don't need to, like you just that's mysteries like that just leave it up to us, the audience, to figure out on our own, and we can all discuss theories and whatever what we think. And I think that sometimes it's a beautiful thing. Like we don't need to know every detail of every character or what they're going through for us to connect with them.
For me, Eric really made that movie. Like everything in the movie was amazing, but I guess the best way to put it is he was my favorite part. Uh, and I really like he wouldn't let anything like now I'm having a brain fart on how to word this. Like, okay, he had his end goal, and he wouldn't let anything make him stray from the end goal. Like, especially when he had to kill his girl, I was like, boy, that was like I did not see that coming, and that was so cool. I love those moments, especially in movies. Uh, if they don't do that too often in movies, where they give you stuff you don't see coming.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that whole shootout in like the junkyard, I love that scene, dude. Like me and T were just like elbowing each other, like, oh shit, dude, they're fucking going in.
Yeah, and so like when he killed her, I was like, man, that was intense because he like she was just another obstacle. Like he had his end goal, he knew what he wanted, and he wouldn't let anything, nothing at all get in his way, which was so cool. And like I was on the edge of my seat. Like I don't know about your theaters, but I go to the AMC theater, and they have these reclining seats. So like the back of your seat is straight up, but then they have a button so you could like recline and like lay down. So I usually just like lay down the whole movie whenever I'm watching it. And during the ceremony thing, when they have that like huge fight, uh, when T'Challa becomes king and all that,
Yeah.
that was like I had to put my seat up. I was literally on the edge of my seat when Eric was fighting him. That was like the best movie fight I'd ever seen. I'd even put it above Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
Dude, all of the action scenes were incredible. They had that whole one shot in the casino. Oh my fucking god, dude, that shit blew me away.
Dude, oh man. And the the actress, I'm forgetting her name, but she plays Michonne in The Walking Dead. I forget her name and her name in Black Panther because I've only seen it once, and that was when it came out. So that's why I'm forgetting her name, but she is such a great actress. I love every scene with her in that movie.
I didn't even notice that was Michonne until you just said it, and then I look back and seeing her face and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, that is her.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, she had some great moments there too. I really love this movie and everything that was in it.
You see those memes with like Black Panther fucking stepping up to Superman, and you see that you see her, and then you see her stepping up to Wonder Woman. Like, dude, get real, dude. These are awesome characters, but they're gonna fucking lose against Superman and Wonder Woman.
I've seen I've seen the best meme right now. Before we started recording, I had seen the best meme. I think Nick Mitchell posted it, and it was just of a tweet, but it was somebody saying that Thanos is about to turn Wakanda into Detroit. I was crying, man. That was hilarious.
Fuck, dude, that is hilarious because Detroit is shittier than Rockford, and yeah, man, fuck, dude, turning Wakanda
It's
into
worse than Gary.
huh?
Was that Detroit right now is worse than Gary?
Well, Gary's just like a shithole. Like it's not, like in Detroit, there's like shit to do. In Gary, there's nothing to do.
Okay, true.
Like, Gary's just a town that you just like drive through, like and you're like, oh fuck, and you just close your eyes the
That's
whole
not that.
way because you don't want to look at
That's
anything.
that's why Brian watches every show because there's nothing to do in Gary. He probably just sits down all day, like, all right, what am I watching today on Netflix?
Yeah, dude. There's no people. Like, I think he's the only fucking citizen in that fucking city.
It's literally just Brian and Nick there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot Nick was there. I was supposed to record with Nick too, and that was gonna be fun because I don't really know him that well. But he didn't want to do it at the last second, I guess. I don't know. But we recorded late as shit too, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Nick's cool, but I don't really know him that well.
I mean, if he's anywhere close as funny as Brian, dude, I would have, I would have loved it.
He's a better roaster than Brian.
Yeah, roasting is a classic American art form.
Yeah, there's not too many things that are classic American besides like comics.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Fucking the whole reason anime started was because Japan wanted to rival against Mickey Mouse, so then they made like Astro Boy and shit like that, dude. Fucking, and I think they're gonna end up winning. I think anime is gonna beat Disney one like or and but it's so hard to I can't just say that anime is gonna beat Disney because there's so many different companies and shit. But I think fucking a lot of that stuff's gonna come out on top.
Nah, I think anime had its boom. It had its boom when I was like a kid, when it was like 07, 08. And like every kid I knew, maybe 06, 07, probably better than 07, 08. But around that time, like every kid I knew in school, except for me, they were just reading manga and they were watching anime, and I don't know. I never really saw the fun in it, except for I've read a few Junji Ito mangas. I've read like three of them, and I love his art style. That's a big reason I never really read mangas or watch animes, because I hate the art style for the most part. But Junji Ito, man, his is like a Japanese version of Terry Moore, who's my favorite American style artist. It's like basically they're very close in their style. They're probably my two favorite artists, honestly.
Yeah, there's anime and manga turns off a lot of like a lot of would be people who would love it, like but they have a lot of that exaggerated and corny art styles where like when something happens that shocks a character, their eyes get huge or jaw drops to the freaking floor or stuff like that,
Yeah,
or
I hate that stuff.
like one of my
It's really not my style.
but one of my favorite anime tropes is the perverted old man. They have a perverted old man in almost every series that I've seen, and every time they do like they just do crazy shit. They'll see like a nude chick and their nose starts bleeding like crazy, or they'll say something perverted or do something like squeeze a chick's butt or something, and then they get smacked in the head with a frying pan. That shit's always hilarious to me, no matter how many times I'll see it. That shit's always gonna be gold to me.
I have a jokes to say, but it's not appropriate for recordings. I'm gonna message it to you after we're done recording.
All right.
But I don't know. Uh, for anime, I mean, growing up, I kind of watched like Dragon Ball Z or whatever. I guess that's kind of anime, but that's more like, it seems like more like an American-y kind of style to it. But I did watch that in like, I don't know, 2000 when I was like 3. I
Yeah.
kind of watched that. Pokemon, of course. I think every kid watched that. I don't know, Pokemon, Digimon, that kind of stuff I watched growing up.
Like when I was a kid, it was really hard to find anime. Like, uh, there was a lot of stuff that was it was just really hard to find. There was this cool company called Manga. They made movies. They made Ghost in the Shell. They made Appleseed. They made like a lot of this cool stuff like that. That like they had like the realistic art styles. They didn't have any of that corny like exaggeration and stuff. And that like all this stuff was like brutally detailed and action packed. And I was like 8, 9, 10 or something watching these movies, and I was like blown away. I was like, fuck. But like for shows and stuff, it was really hard to find shows as a kid. Like Sailor Moon came on like USA on like weekday mornings in the summer, and there was a Mega Man cartoon, and like that one was actually really bad, but I still enjoyed it just because it was anime and it was Mega Man. I was a huge Mega Man fan, but the show was just bad. and and then there was these American cartoons. They had fucking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Those were awesome, but they were from Japanese stories or whatever. Uh, but it was really hard. But then when and like our cable in Rockford, we didn't have the WB at right away. We didn't have Comedy Central. We didn't have Cartoon Network. Like our major cable stations we had in Rockford were MTV, Nickelodeon, History Channel, Discovery Channel. Uh, like I don't know, we didn't have a lot of the cooler shit until later, and then we got like somehow WB and shit came on, and then I had Cartoon Network, and then there was Toonami, fucking boom, fucking picked up on Dragon Ball Z right where I left off as a kid when I would come on like early in the morning on Saturdays at like fucking 5 in the morning on Saturday mornings, and fucking boom, it fucking took me back to where I fucking left off, and I had one friend that I grew up with that actually read mangas and stuff, and that's the only person I knew that read mangas like throughout our childhood or whatever. Everyone else had comics or cards or.
Now, have you seen any anime adaptations of any of the Junji Ito stuff? Because I haven't seen any, but I think I probably will eventually.
I haven't looked, but I can. There's this streaming site I use that has everything anime, and I can look. I just
You
gotta.
gotta read his book. You gotta read his book called Uzumaki. Man, that thing terrified me. Now, I love American comics, but there has never been an American comic that has come that close to terrifying.
Nice.
Uzumaki is basically this town, and it's kind of haunted by swirls, by that shape. I thought it sounded interesting. I didn't know exactly what that meant by the little description because I was looking at a list of I was looking at horror comics. I was looking at a list of them, and it was like the top however many scary horror comics. And I was looking, and they put that on the list, even though it was a manga. And they said it was creepy, blah blah. It's about a town haunted by swirls. I was like, whatever. I picked it up. The hardcover is maybe like $15. I picked it up and man, I was blown away.
That's what's up, man. I always get confused when I start reading manga because you forget that the bubbles and everything go from right to
Right to
left,
left.
and I always forget that. But that, like the first time I actually noticed books do that is my friend Yasmin was reading a book in Hebrew, and you still read from left to right, but you read the pages right to left. So like you read the book like backwards.
Yeah, that stuff always confused me. I don't get why other cultures do that, but whatever works for them, I guess. I just maybe it's because I for 20 years, I just been reading left to right.
Yeah.
That's why I just so much easier. But right to left, I mean, even when I read a manga and it's in English and I read it right to left, I mean, it's so weird. I mean, I've only read like 3 mangas, but it's just so weird to me. I don't think I could ever get used to that.
Yeah, it throws me off like every time, or like even when like on someone posts like a meme or whatever on like all things anime or just in general, like and you it's a meme from some manga, and I forget, and I'm like, fuck, why didn't this dialogue make any sense? Oh wait, never mind, I read it backwards.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. I don't know. I put Uzumaki over pretty much like every American comic I ever read, and that's not a diss to anybody. Like, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but that comic is like, or I mean, that manga is. I gotta reread it. There was was not a single thing I disliked. The whole thing was creepy and terrifying, and I was legit scared, which is, I don't really get scared that much from books. I get scared more from watching something scary on YouTube or Netflix or something, or seeing a scary movie in the theater. But like from a book, it genuinely terrified me.
That's awesome. I think Uzumaki means like or has some sort of meaning with swirls because
Yeah,
because
me and Swirl.
in Naruto's last name is Uzumaki and their whole like there's a whole bunch of just like swirl stuff in it like he has this seal on his stomach that it seals this nine-tailed demon fox inside of his body, but the seal has like a swirl with some shit coming out of it. They're ninja headbands for the leaf the village that they're in, the hidden leaf, that has like a swirl and shit on their headband and every time like they're doing something with seals or fucking summoning something from a scroll, there's always some sort of fucking swirl and shit in it. And it's got so like Uzumaki means swirls or something like that.
Yeah, dude. It was just such a wild read, but that's all I could say about it without like giving you spoilers. You just got to check it out for yourself.
Absolutely.
I don't know I don't know because when it comes to horror comics, there just really haven't been any that have terrified me like that. Like I don't know, but all types, all genres of comics. Uh, I think Invincible by Robert Kirkman, Cory Walker, and Ryan Ottley. The Invincible will probably be like the best comic ever. There's no superhero comic like it. You just gotta check it out. It's 144 issues, and that's it.
Man, that's it. I thought it was more than that. I know the last ones just came out. Like,
Yeah, it did.
Did you cry?
Come on. I was so sad when it ended. Like that was such a sad day for me. Like I don't know. I woke up. I went to the comic shop. I can't even remember what other comics came out. And I got home and I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I don't even know how to feel because when I started reading Invincible, that was with birthday money from when I turned 18, and I picked up the first paperback. I think I told this story before on another episode, but I really loved it because I related so hard, and he was turning 18 at the time in the book, and I was 18, and like he had a job he hated, I had a job I hated, and there was a bunch of other stuff I could relate to, especially like when he starts college and all that, and like he grew up and he grows up throughout the whole thing, and it ends. And I feel like I grew up with him because like we both grew up as the story went along.
Oh, dude, that's cute. You guys have like a bond. He doesn't know that you guys bond that well. You're like
But
you're stalking Invincible.
there's like some tie-in like miniseries stuff that I haven't really read, but I'll probably track that stuff down. Uh, but as but for the whole main series, all 144 issues, it's amazing, and there's no hero comic that could top it. I don't think.
Man, I kind of have that same feeling. Not about there's no hero comic that would top it, but like when One Piece is gonna end, like I don't know, I don't even know if it ever will, but when it eventually does, I'm probably gonna have that same feeling like, oh man, what the fuck do I do now? Like what's next? Is Oda Sensei gonna do more projects after this? What's gonna happen? Uh, so I'm gonna
I
have
don't know.
I'll have that same feeling when One Piece finally ends. But I still think there's gonna be at least like 300 more episodes.
I don't know. I mean, I follow all of Robert Kirkman's other books like Walking Dead, Outcast. he just started another one called Oblivion Song. I follow those. Ryan Otley now is going to draw Amazing Spider-Man. I'm obviously going to follow him there. I don't know if Cory Walker even does anything these days, but I mean, I'm going to follow these guys, but so I already know like what comes next in their careers. But Invincible, man, that is like a God tier story. There's, oh no, I don't have. I don't know what sound is coming from your end, but I hear some weird sound.
I don't hear it. The only thing that's
Oh,
coming.
I heard like some static noise.
The only thing that's coming over here is I'm by a heater, but it's really soft. The sound for it's really soft. So
Oh, that might have been it. I don't know. But
it,
anyways, like I was saying, like I just don't have another hero comic that could fill that void. Like Marvel 2-in-1 right now has been amazing. It's like it's 4 issues and it's been the best 4 issues I've read in a while, but there's just nothing that really tops Invincible, especially because in like a Marvel or DC comic, uh, nobody ever stays dead. The stakes don't really matter. Everything gets undone in a reboot. But then when you read like a hero from like Image or something, you know, people actually die and stay dead for the most part, or the stakes actually matter in a sense. And that's how it was in Invincible. Things actually mattered, and most of the time, a hero comic actually comes out from like Image, Dark Horse. A lot of times, most people don't read it. Most people just stick to Marvel and DC for whatever reason.
yeah. Um,
So it's going to be hard for another one to take its place and be that long running and that good.
I almost bought an Image title like last month. It was called Beef or something like that,
Oh,
and the cover was just like the cover was a can of fucking like of a can of meat or whatever, and it was so fucking goofy looking. I'm like, dude, this is the type of shit I buy, but I like the money didn't allow me to buy it, and now they don't have it there anymore. I'm like, fuck, man, I wanted to get that book.
I don't know if my shop even got it, but I look through the releases every week with my brother. We look on the websites.
Yeah.
As soon as we saw it said beef, I just shook my head. I was like, this thing looks so dumb. Like, not in like a bad way. I mean, like it looks like so goofy.
Yeah, that's the type of shit that I would buy, like just some fucking off the wall shit like that, and it'd probably end up being really good. Uh, like that one Image book I got, I forget the title of it. It's about this retired,
Nick Wilson.
yeah, Nick Wilson, dude. That shit is really good. Like, I thought it was just gonna be like some dude who's a superhero. Like, I thought it was gonna be like an American version of One Punch Man, where like this dude's just like a fucking hero, but he lives but I don't know, but he just lives like shit or whatever. He just gets drunk and high or whatever. And I was like, well, and I was still gonna like really love that book if that was the case. But no, it wasn't like that at all. Like this dude was like Superman, but like I guess he doesn't have powers and shit anymore. And so he just like he makes money by pretending to be himself. Like he pretends to be Nick Wilson, like an impersonator. Like he pretends to be a Nick Wilson impersonator and he performs at like birthday parties and shit for like kids. And he doesn't fuck. And he,
Really good. I gotta check this out.
huh?
I said that sounds really good. I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it's cool. And he doesn't fuck their moms, even like how bad they're wanting him to do it. He's all like, no, I can't. And then he ends up meeting up with like one of his ex girlfriends from like back in the day or whatever, and she's gained some weight or whatever, but he's all like, "Oh no, you still look as good as you ever did" or whatever, and she's like, "Shut the fuck up, you're making that up." Or you're just trying to get me back to your place or whatever. And he's like, no, 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 for real.
But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be really tough for another hero comics to come along from one of the indie companies and be that well received as Invincible was. I think part of that comes from just Robert Kirkman's name, because I mean, he wrote The Walking Dead. He still writes it, and he's involved with the show, so everyone knows who he is. So I think a lot of the success from it came from his name, but it's also a very merit based book. Like they, I'm not saying like it only did so well because of their names. Like it does so well because they're all talented. Everyone that's ever worked on that book has been very talented. But uh, I'm saying it was like just a little bit more well received, just because he's well known.
Yeah.
It'd be like if Scott Snyder went to Image and did a hero book. It would sell really good just because of his name, but also because he's talented.
Right. Um, Going back on Walking Dead, kind of. Do you think those books are gonna have any sort of end game in the near future, or do you think that's just gonna continue to be a long running series with?
I wouldn't I wouldn't say near future because I know he said that he has an ending in mind, an ending he'd like to do, but uh, he he also loves writing it more than any of his other books. I'm pretty sure, so I think it'll go on for a while. I think he said before in an interview that I only read like part of this interview. I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't know if he was just being like sort of tongue in cheek. But he said he'd do 700 issues if he could, you know. But I think he might be over exaggerating there just a little bit because I mean it's on issue like 178, I want to say. So I mean. It took 15 years to get there. It's going to take like a long time to get to 700, but
Yeah, 700 is a bit of a stretch.
so like realistically, I could see it getting to 300 maybe. Uh, I don't know, but I know that's gonna take about like it's been out for 15 years. That's probably gonna take another like 12. Uh, I don't know because it's like Spawn has been out for like 26 years and it's at 284, I think. So yeah, that put it at about like give Walking Dead another 12 more years, it would be close to 300 issues. So I think it'll go to 300. I can't see it getting much more past that.
Spawn has a lot of like side titles and stuff too, though.
Yeah, a lot of those look cool, but I'm like, because I have the paperback of Spawn 1 through 50,
Yeah.
and I don't. I'm even past like issue 20 yet. I'm probably at around 19 or 20. So I'm like in no place to track down those tie-ins yet. And when there's like almost 300 issues, I'm like I'm like 24 years behind on this title.
Oh yeah, you're ahead of me. Like I remember, like we were like me and my friend Cody, we were really big Spawn fans, but we didn't know anything about the we didn't know anything about it really. Like all we knew was like the details we got from the back of our action figures boxes and McFarlane toys in the fucking 90s, dude. Like those were the best action figures. Like you almost like they were so detailed and and
I
so
think to
like
know the stories.
you almost didn't want to play with them because they were so fucking awesome and you didn't want to break them. And
Speaking of McFarlane, it's actually his birthday today.
no shit. He'll be posting
Yeah,
it. He'll be doing a drawing video for sure on his birthday today.
yeah, I'll love the drawing videos.
He's so funny doing his drawing videos, dude. He's like when he's doing the little lines and you just hear him going like pew, 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 whoosh, 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 whoosh. He's having so much fun when he's drawing.
He
It's
legit just sounds like dad jokes the whole time. Like, like I don't know. It's like the funniest thing to watch. But anyways, but like McFarlane Toys, like yeah, I had seen an interview with him once saying how like toys in his day, like they were hardly painted, like and even when they were painted, like they'd paint a basketball and it'd be like the totally wrong color, or like how toys were just kind of thrown together. He said what he did for McFarlane Toys was he just made them detailed and high end, and that's why they sold so well. So really, I think they're still like I don't really buy toys. I mean, I would probably if I had extra money, I'd probably buy like action figures and statues of characters I liked. But just from what I see, like from what I see around, I still say McFarlane Toys and their statues are probably still like the best ones today.
Well, a lot of stuff have stepped their game up. I bought I don't know which toy company made this UK Spider-Man that I bought last year at Comic Con. It wasn't Marvel's Legends because I did buy some of those. I bought this Iron Fist. He was this Iron Fist in the white suit with the gold gloves and boots and shit. And that toy was complete shit. I ended up giving it away to Crystal's son Dylan, and and then I gave him the shitty Batman toy I bought too. But Marvel Legends is actually they're stepping up their game with some of their toys. Not all of them, obviously, with the Iron Fist. The, but yeah, McFarlane toys is like they might not be the best anymore, but they're still like in the top two or three. Like there's one issue is their toys were always super expensive. Like it was like $20 for an action figure when you could get like one of the shitty ones at Kmart that they were still fun to play with, but you could get one of those for like $5. You know, so I could get four toys for $20 or one really cool one. You know.
Yeah. But well, speaking of toys, like as a kid, I loved going to Toys R Us, and now that I have like three nieces and one nephew, sometimes. Well, not that often anymore. I don't see them that often, but sometimes I would take them to Toys R Us and have them pick out a toy or two. But now Toys R Us is closing down. I'm like, man, Toys R Us was a big part of my childhood. It's like whenever I don't know, whenever I could, I'd be like, Mom, Dad, can we go to Toys R Us? Just because as a kid, I loved toys. I loved buying, especially like toys you would build. Uh, and I just loved building stuff as a kid. So it feels really sad now that Toys R Us, that they're going out of business or all closing down.
Oh yeah, dude. Cash in your Jeffrey dollars by the end of the month.
Yeah.
Are they still are Toys R Us coupons still called Jeffrey dollars?
I don't know if they still are, but I know to get those in the mail when I was a kid.
Fucking Jeffrey the giraffe. Dude, I used to like to build like cool ass little like towns with my Legos, and then have my action figures come in like they were like big ass fucking monsters. Like I had this really cool Scorpion toy, Scorpion from Spider Man. He had the tail and everything, and like so I would just like have him like use his tail to like whip the fucking my little Lego village and like just destroy the town. And you have the Lego people, like you could pose them like they're panicking, their arms are in the air, and it was really cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I was debating going to the local Toys R Us because it's like 3 minutes from me, and I was like, let's see what cool deals they got since they're closing down. But then I was like, wait, I'm broke and I'm looking for a job, so I don't have any extra money to spend on toys that I don't even need.
Yeah, when I did this job orientation at the at another Schnucks location because there's like five of them in town, and across this, and I ended up I couldn't find my ID, so I couldn't do the orientation. I had to wait for like 5 more days till their next one, and so I was just like, fuck, what am I gonna do now? My mom's gone, and that was my ride here. So I was like, I'm gonna go across the street to Toys R Us, and then and I'm gonna buy a Nintendo DS and some games or whatever, because I think I gave my Nintendo DS away. But then I'm like halfway across the street, and I'm like, wait, dude, I don't have money to buy a Nintendo DS and Final Fantasy 12 and uh uh and Flash Focus and all. Even if this, I don't even know if this stuff would still be at Toys R Us. And so I was like, what the fuck am I thinking? So I just walked back across the other end of the street, and I just walked around Schnucks for a couple hours. And I was like, I can afford to buy food. I can't afford to buy electronics.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Toys R Us is like a big deal to me these days, but as a kid, like Toys R Us was like the thing. It's like I don't know. That's where I pretty much got all my toys as a kid. So I don't know. It's like it's sad. Like it's a little piece of my childhood, but at the same time, I don't care that much.
Man, all those Toys R Us kids are gonna be forced to grow up now.
Yeah.
there was a funny bit. I don't know if you watch Nostalgia Critic at all, but
Seen like one episode.
he
He was talking about Star Wars.
he was doing a commercial. He was doing a thing on commercials. He does that like once a year or whatever. And then there was a Toys R Us commercial that came on. He was doing that, and he's like, "What the fuck does it even mean to be a Toys R Us kid?" And then it goes to a skit where he has eh, this kid is playing. Like, he's not a kid anymore. He's an adult, but he's like in his room, like playing with stuff, and his mom's hollering all like, "Hey, when are you gonna go and like get a job?" And she's all like, and he's all like, "What?" He's like, "Be quiet, mom. I'm a Toys R Us kid." She's like, "You always say that. What does it mean?" He's like, "Mom, you won't understand. I'm a Toys R Us kid." But he's like a grown man, like playing with Legos and shit in his room.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I want to do skits.
I don't know what to say to that.
that's that's the story of my life. I say stuff all the time, and then people are like, "Am I supposed to respond to that?" Or like, we're like, I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know."
That's you. Wow, that's you. That is straight up you, Tim.
Yeah, like I don't know if I know how to communicate.
So, how's writing been going?
It's been okay. I did a little bit. I'm almost done with Reject Squad number 2. Um, I've just been like I started working out and stuff this week because I was listening to comedians like talking about getting old and like pulling muscles and shit that they didn't even know they had. So I started doing yoga and exercising this week. It's all like, fuck, dude, these guys only got like 20 years on me, you know? And so like I was like really sore like all week, and like so like and then I've been working or whatever, but not much, like 4 or 6 hours whatever at a time. So then I get home and I'm just like, I'm beat, I'm sore from working out, and I'm tired from just standing on my feet for 4 or 6 hours like just in one spot. And so I got a little bit done. I think I'm gonna probably get more done once I get more used to working all the time again. So like just like my body and brain and soul all have to adjust to this new stuff.
Yeah, school's been wearing me down, so I haven't been as efficient. Like, it's probably over a month since I've had like a 4 or 5 script day. Like, the most I've had in like the last 2 months has been like 2 scripts. Yeah, school's just been kicking my butt.
I'm thinking one of these books that I'm gonna be writing in this month or next month or so is probably gonna be some of the best stuff I've ever written though. Uh, Reject Squad number 2 is really solid. There's no action in this one again, like in the first one there wasn't any action in it. But that's all. It's all gonna be all that stuff's gonna be saved for like. But then issue 3 is gonna be like really action packed, and then because Emily's gonna be like no one even knows what the fuck I'm talking about. But Emily's gonna be on the team, but then they're gonna ask her to stay, and then she's gonna leave, and then she's just gonna go back to her book because her book is right now is in a flashback stuff, like learning about how she learned she had powers and stuff. So then, so that's gonna be a little 3 issue arc. So then when that ends, Reject Squad and Super Emu 6 are gonna end at the same time. So then after 3, Super Emu Chronicles number 7 is gonna go back to her canonical fucking adventures and shit.
Sounds cool. I don't know. Have you caught up on any of the scripts I've sent you?
No.
You should have seen my reaction to that noise.
I need to catch back up on Hourglass because that one's really fun. I haven't even read any of the comic books I bought last week or uh, this week. I'm still sitting on fence. I haven't read it.
Uh, I don't know. Even when I go from putting out like 40 scripts a month to putting out like 15, Tim's still like hella behind.
Oh yeah, I know. And it doesn't even take long to read them, and they're just really fun. But it's just there's just so much now, and it just keeps on building, and I just get overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my god, dude, there's so much. I got 5 emails today from Nasser.
It's been a while though since I've had like a 5 script day. It's just school just keeps wearing me down, and I got like assignments like crazy. Like I don't know, it's my last semester, and they're just like drowning us in assignments.
Yeah.
I don't know. So then it's like any free time I get, I just want to breathe.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Yeah. But I finished college in May, and then I had no clue what's coming after.
Fuck yeah, dude. The whole time I've known you, you've been in school, and now your whole life is gonna be different.
Yeah, it felt like it's gone by so quick. Like literally just the other day, like I remember taking my last test for high school, and then it's like suddenly now it's like I'm done in a couple months.
Does it feel like bittersweet? I never finished college, so like I don't know what it feels like.
Uh, well, I don't really like my major, so it doesn't feel like anything.
Oh man, what's your major
I
again?
don't know.
Business?
My major is business with a concentration in entrepreneurship.
I mean, that's what we're doing though. Like that's what we're doing right now. You're writing all those books, and we're trying to get our comic books established and stuff, man. That's entrepreneurship right there, man. We're trying to do the
It's
thing.
mostly I mostly learn about stuff that's like boring, and like half of this stuff they don't even like really teach you like how to run a business or how to make a business plan or how to do this or that. They basically just have you
What? They just have you what?
they just have you memorize definitions. Like it's basically it.
Oh, dude, I had a business class like that, and I passed it. I never showed up except for on test days and days we had to turn in big assignments, and I got a B. And I didn't even have the real textbook. I accidentally bought a cram 101 textbook, which those are the worst fucking textbooks to buy. Because it just has all the key terms from the original textbook, and it just has the key terms and the definitions, what they mean and stuff. That's all the Cram 101 books are. And I was so first day of class, and the professor's like, "All right, pull out your books or whatever," and they're all fucking pull out this book. And I'm like, "I don't have that book," and they're reading it and shit, and I'm like, I only have the definitions. Like, I bought the wrong book, but I still passed the class with a B. So like, whatever, fuck them.
Yeah, I don't know. Business is just boring. I don't know. It's whatever.
I had this speech class, and the professor, I always say teacher, the professor looked. I don't know if are you familiar with the comic Lewis Black?
No.
Lewis Black is he does like angry comedy where he's always just like ranting, and he does like politics and stuff. I had this speech teacher. He
Mhm.
looked and sounded just like Lewis Black, and it was great, dude. Like I went to that class every day just because I thought the teacher was awesome.
Yeah, I've rarely had a teacher like that where I thought that they were awesome.
I'm still friends with my environmental science teacher. Like we talk on Facebook, whatever, every once in a while. It's a good time.
Rip. Um, didn't you have like this one like English teacher or something from high school that like read your scripts?
No, I didn't write scripts, but I had this English teacher in high school. We had to write short stories every week, like that, and like she would give us a piece of paper, and it would have like five topics on there, and we had to write short stories every week based off of one of those five topics. And I wrote this one really cool one. It had a twist or whatever at the end where the story like this kid was walking down the street and he gets approached by a dude in like a really fancy car, and he's all like, "Hey man, you trying to make some money? You trying to do some stuff?" They have a conversation for a while, and then the kid eventually just turns him down, and then because he's you don't really go through his thought process of why he turns him down, but you just get the feeling that like he doesn't trust the guy, that he's trying to have him make some like not legit, like just some shady money and whatever. So then he turns him down, and then he ends up walking into like an unemployment office looking for a real job, and that was the end. And so she really, and the teacher like really loved that story. She's like, "Oh, I didn't see that twist coming at the end." And I was like, "That's not really much of a twist. It was just fucking
I don't know. It just sounds like whatever.
yeah." And and I don't know. I just always got the feeling like I like writing dialogue
Dude, me too.
more than anything. And then I was watching some Kevin Smith documentaries for like the making of Clerks, the making of Dogma, and stuff like that. And they were talking about like his early career, like before he even started Clerks, and he was just doing like film school stuff and all this other shit. Like, and then like when the reviews for Clerks for came out, they were like, "This dude really knows how to write smart dialogue." Like this, like, and I didn't know that that's what he was like. That's like when I first watched his movies and stuff, I didn't know that like he was just mainly focused on writing dialogue and whatever, and he based all his characters on his friends and shit. And but then and I was all like, damn, dude. And so then I look back and I watch that stuff and I look back on stuff that I write and whatever. I'm like, dude, I do the exact same thing, dude. Like I don't, I don't, I didn't know how much we were alike until recently. And he was always he's always been a hero of mine. So like when I found all that stuff out in like the past couple months or so, I was like, oh shit, dude, like we're more alike than I ever thought.
I don't know. I like writing dialogue. I seen this video from Quentin Tarantino when he was talking about how he learned to write dialogue, and he said it was like in his early days, like as a kid, he said when he would watch movies, he would try to because he wanted to act, so he after he'd like see a movie, he'd like try to write down the scene from memory so he could like act it out.
Yeah,
But he said, you know, sometimes you forget things, so he said he would just fill in the blanks with his own words, and he would like add on to scenes and start writing like entirely new scenes. I thought that was pretty cool.
yeah, dude, that's always fun. I used to do something similar like that. Like when I used to draw, me and my brother used to draw our own like Mario levels and like our own like Mario stories and stuff. So like we always we make up new monsters or fucking like giant Goombas or stuff like that. And like making up scenarios like, oh, there's a new princess because like we're tired of rescuing Princess Toadstool. That was her name back then.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing I want to do, like, okay, sometimes I'll take a comic book that I've read and I'll flip through it and I'll just look at the art and not read the words, just to see how well how well of a script that the writer wrote, just to see how much you can follow along without the words. I think that's really an important key if you're going to be a writer. Well, at least a comic book writer, to just look at the art and see how much you can follow it along. I think you should follow at least 75% of it along without confusion, because obviously there are some parts where you're going to need words, like for flashbacks, like you're going to have to read the words previously or something. But I'm saying without reading the words, you should be able to know at least 75% of what's going on just from looking at the art. I think the next thing I got to start doing, which might be a little more boring because it would take longer, is to watch a movie with the sound turned off, just so I could follow along with the pacing and the storytelling and see how much you could understand without the words. Because I think that's one of the most important parts is learning how to pace your story and knowing what to show people.
Yeah, that's that. I've actually done that a lot. Like we used to watch TV and movies and stuff all the time, but with the sound off, and we'd play music. Like,
That
so
makes no sense to me. Like how you would do that just for fun.
like, it
That's kind of
wasn't
how I
fun. It was
sound.
just like there was always just some shit on, and it was just something on just for visual. But we're always just listening to music, whatever. It wasn't something that we were like, oh, let's fucking sit down and watch this movie on mute. It was just something that just happened, you know.
That sounds like really silly, but I'm trying to approach it from like a serious approach. Like I don't know, because I
We
mainly
weren't
write comics.
we weren't serious. We were
Wait,
sitting around getting high. But I know what you're saying. You're trying to do it for to fucking hone your craft.
yeah, I think it's because my favorite part is doing the dialogue, but I feel the most important part is what they see first of all, what the reader sees, because sometimes I'll be reading a book or well, a comic for the most of the time I'm reading a comic. I'll be reading a comic and even with the dialogue, there'll be some really confusing scenes where I don't know how this gets to this, and like the panels just don't add up. So I think it's the most important thing, first and foremost, when somebody's looking at your book, they look right at the art and they kind of look at a few panels in a row to get an idea of what's happening. So I think the most important part to any story, really, when it comes to something visual, not like a novel, but when it comes to a comic or a show, the most important part is what people are seeing so they're not confused.
Yeah, and that's and visual storytelling has become such a major dynamic, like ever since silent films. Um, like because those were movie like they had dialogue in them, but it was in text in between scenes.
And sometimes that's like if it goes too fast.
Yeah. So and it's been just ever progressively evolving into just like actually it might even be fucking before that. You know, we had children's books and stuff like that. There was cave paintings. Like I don't know, visual
Yeah,
storytelling has been something that's been dynamic throughout time or whatever, and it's just only getting better. And we have to learn how to get better with it. You know.
yeah.
Oh
Awkward silence.
man, I I drank too much last night, and I didn't even notice until I got home. I was like, "Fuck, dude, I drank way too much." But that karaoke thing was really fun.
Yeah, okay, so you shared a post about the karaoke thing. Well, you shared the page and you said, go to this page to vote for me. Now, I went to the page, but I didn't see any place to vote. I just seen them post how everybody did. Or sorry, that's a bad way to put it. I saw them post like a video of what everybody did, but I didn't see a place to vote.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I looked on it too, and that's what the DJ told me is like, if I'm friends with the DJ, and she was all like, "Yeah, you go to this page and you share it, and people can vote for you, whatever." And I was like, "All right, I'll do that." And I shared it twice, and and I've looked at it twice, and I'm like, "Where do you vote?" But I don't know. I'll
You
ask
should
her.
probably ask them because
I'm gonna
I didn't see a single place to vote.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her about it because that's how everyone's gonna win or whatever. Like the first prize was like the 1,250 bucks or whatever, and the second prize was like $500. Shut the fuck up. Uh, and and then the third prize was like $200 or $250, and then the fourth prize was a $100 gift card. So I'm like, dude, even either way, dude, I'll shoot for fourth, and like I could sell that fucking $100 gift card for like $70.
Man, I remember when we were shooting for like third or whatever for that pizza contest. Man, we completely failed. I was not expecting that, Tim. We were so much hype, we were so much talk, and then we ended up failing.
Yeah, it's failing
But like
bad.
the worst part is that pizza was so good that I am so mad I did not take my time to enjoy it. I was just stuffing my face the whole time so we
Yeah.
could try to get it in 45 minutes.
Dude, when you were like just like playing with like sauce and cheese at one point, and you're just like covered with it, I was like, man, how am I supposed to finish eating this shit? Like, you know, just looking at them is so gross right now.
So it's like, hey, okay, people, this pizza was like 3 feet in diameter. So like we had a huge it's just like 3 feet of pizza, and these slices were huge. It was like into like 8 slices. I was like on the third one. I was like almost done with the third one, but I couldn't I couldn't get any further, and like the cheese had fallen off that slice, and it was like all messed up. So I had to put it back on top of the slice. Like the cheese sauce was like mixed up everywhere, and it looked so gross. But I was like nibbling at it anyways. And then I had sauce all over my face and my hands, and they didn't even have a bathroom. They didn't even have a bathroom for us. We had to like wipe it all off with napkins, and they had those really thin napkins. It was thin napkins and like a bottle of water. That's all I had to clean myself with. I was so gross. Then we got back to Tim's house. It was like 15 minutes maybe back to Tim's house. I got there. First thing I did was I ran to the bathroom to wash my hands because I was still I still had grease on my hands.
That is some really good pizza too. That's one good thing about Rockford is there's good pizza like almost everywhere you go.
Dude, I gotta make that 3-hour trip back up to Rockford just to go to that pizza place because that pizza was some of the best pizza I ever had.
Oh, dude, there's better pizza places than that. We have our Christmas union meetings at this place called Capri. It's downtown Rockford, and that is a lot of people consider it's the best pizza in Rockford, but I think it just depends on the day. It is up there. It's probably like the second or third best in town.
Okay, I don't care. We're gonna go back to that place, that Mamma Mia's place. I follow them on Facebook, and they're 3 hours away. We gotta go back to that place. We gotta go back to that place and get that pizza. Like that's the one thing I want to do. I'm gonna go back up to Rockford. We're gonna get that pizza.
Like the same size pizza, but like just eat it as like real people eat pizza.
Yes. If it was like, how much was it again? Like 50 something.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't care. We're gonna split that pizza. We're gonna put down the 50 something and eat that pizza like normal people.
I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah.
We get better toppings and stuff, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
Anyways, I don't want this to run too long because usually these on the road episodes are short. So I think we should just end it right now.
Yeah, I gotta get ready for. I have to be at work in an hour, so you gotta get ready for that stuff too. So sounds good.
All right. All right. Well, have a good day at work.
No, I will. It's only 4 hours a day. It's not bad.
Cool.
Cool. And I think we are off the road.